Write a numerical expression that represents the description. Number 4 says the quotient of 3 and the sum of 5 and 12. So we have 3 divided by that sum, 5 plus 12. Number 8 says the difference between 4 groups of 25. So 4 groups of 25 would be 4 times 25. Difference means subtraction. So the difference between 4 groups of 25 and 3 groups of 12. Complete the remaining expressions for your warm-up. This is a digital lesson, so if it's unlocked, go ahead and follow along with me. Otherwise, you can take notes in your workbook. It says choose a destination. So depending on what you choose, the following slides might be different than what I have. I would like to go to the water park. So it says the cost is $23 and the distance is 8 miles. Enter your prediction for each destination. So based on how far the taxi had to take me, the water park cost $23. The arcade is very close, so I think it's going to be a lot cheaper, like maybe $4. Then the swimming pool is a little bit further, so I'm thinking maybe $9. You can see that the cost is here, so I was a little bit under on both of them. So to get to the school, let's see, if that was 9, this might be $18, or maybe around $16. So it was $15.50. The pizza parlor isn't too much further, so I'm thinking maybe $18. And it was 18, so I was right on for that one. The hiking trail is farther than the water park, so it needs to be more than $23. And it was 28. I predicted that it was 26. Did you accurately predict the total cost of a ride to each destination? Why? No, I did not accurately predict the total cost. I was making predictions based on about how far the taxi was to the destination in comparison to the destination I selected, which was the water park at the beginning. Had I known the distance, I might have been able to predict the cost a little bit better, but I didn't have that information provided to me. If this pattern continues, what is the total cost of an 11-mile ride? So if they kept going, what would the cost of an 11-mile ride be? Well, let's see. Let's look for any patterns. I see that 2 miles cost $8. I would anticipate that 4 miles would cost twice that, because 2 times 2 is 4, and 8 times 2 should be 16, but that doesn't come out to be the case. Then 6 should increase by the same amount. But perhaps this is our problem. The 0 miles costs $3. And then it goes up by $2.50. Let's see. It starts at $3 and it goes up $2.50 to get to $5. And then if I add $2.50 to that, that gives me $8. And if I add $2.50, that gives me $10.50. So it looks like they're going up by $2.50 each time. So $28 plus $2.50 would be $30.50. And it asks, how do you know? The cost increase is $2.50 for each additional mile traveled. Well, since we know that every time the miles increase by 1, the costs increase by $2.50, we can say it costs $2.50 per mile plus an additional $3, because you can see just by getting in the car and not going anywhere, you have to pay $3. Define the variable in this situation. M represents the number of miles traveled from where the taxi picks you up to where it drops you off. A ride costs $3 to pick up a passenger and $2.50 per mile. Write an expression to represent the total cost for a ride of M miles. So we get charged $2.50 per mile, so it's 2.50 times the number of miles plus the $3. Julie has a total of $40 to spend on a ride. The expression that represents the amount of money Julie has left after a ride of M miles is 40 minus 3 plus 2.5 M. Julie meets friends at the pizza parlor 13 miles away. How much money does Julie have left after paying for the ride? So the miles in this expression is going to get replaced with the value 13. So we have 40 minus 3 plus 2.5, and it's 2.5 times the mile, so 2.5 times 13. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 more makes 7. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 7 plus 5 is 12. We have 1 decimal spot there, so we need 1 decimal spot here. So now we have 40 minus 3 plus 32.5. If we're adding 3, that's the same as adding 3.0. Remember, in addition, our decimals need to be lined up. 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. So I have 40 minus 3550. So now I need 40 minus 35.5. Our decimals get lined up, and in that gap we can put an extra 0. We'll need to borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 5 is 4. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So this is 4.5 or $4.50. You and your friend Julie meet at the pizza parlor. All the tables at the restaurant are square. Each table has 4 seats. Suppose 5 tables are empty. How many people can sit at the tables? Well, if 4 seat around a table and there are 5 tables, 4 times 5 would be 20 people can sit at those. Then it says define a variable and write an expression that represents the total number of seats in the restaurant. So S represents the number of seats at each table. The expression would be 5 S, because there are 5 tables, and S is the number of seats at each table. Now it says you want to sit at the same table with your friends, but you do not know how many friends will come to the pizza parlor. You push the tables together to make one big rectangle. You put seats where they fit. Use the interactive to figure out the number of seats when you push tables together and complete the table. So if you have one table, we know that 4 people can sit around it. If we stick 2 tables together, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we can't put anybody in the middle because we push those tables together. If we have 3 tables, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For 4 tables, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 on each end, 9, 10. For 5 tables, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I see that each time they're increasing by 2. So I'm going to say 2t because it's going up by 2 for every time we increase the number of tables. But if I just did 5 times 2, that would give me 10, not 12. And if I did 3 times 2, that would give me 6, but not 8. So I need to add 2 to get these values. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. How do you know your expression is correct? Well, if I have 5 tables, I can sit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side. So there's 5 and 5. So that's 2 times the number of tables. 2 times 5. 5 on each side. So 5 times 2. That's where we get the 2t piece from. But then I can also sit a chair on each end, which is where the additional 2 chairs comes from. So then there's 2 t's, and 1 plus 1 is 2. You wrote the expression 2t plus 20. What is the total number of seats if you put 20 tables together? So if I replace the t with 20, 20 times 2 is 40, and 40 plus 2 would be 42. So that's for 20 tables. If I did 50 tables, that would be 2. I replace the t with 50 because there's 50 tables, and add 2. 2 times 50 is 100, and 100 plus 2 is 102. And I've showed how I know by replacing it in the expression. You buy 1 pizza for $15. You also buy 1 pitcher of iced tea. The total cost of the pizza and iced tea is split equally among 4 of your friends and yourself. Define a variable. The unknown here is how much the pitcher of tea cost. So we're going to say P is the price in dollars of the pitcher of tea. So for our expression, we have the $15, the price of the tea, and then there's 5 people, the 4 of your friends and yourself. So we have the $15 plus the price of the pitcher gets split, but not just that piece, it's the whole thing. Gets split. It doesn't want to type for me here. 15 plus P divided by 5, because there's 5 people. Next, you and your friends go to the arcade. To play games at the arcade, you must use a card that costs $1. When you buy the card, you also pay for the number of games you plan to play. The cost of every game in the arcade is 75 cents. So we're going to say G is the number of games that you plan to play. Write an expression that represents the total cost of the arcade for an arcade card. So you pay $1 for the card, plus you pay 75 cents per game that you plan to play. Which description represents your expression? Select all that apply. The difference between 1 and 75.75 of a number, well, we don't have subtraction, so we don't want the difference. The sum of 1 and 0.75 of a number, that would work. Or 1 more than 0.75 times a number. That one would also work. The word more indicates addition, and the word sum indicates addition. After the arcade, you have time for one more activity. Describe a situation that could be represented by 10 plus 6.5 in, and be sure to define in. Maybe your friends want to go ride one of those tandem bikes where everybody fits on the same bicycle. So this could be, it would be like $10 to rent the tandem bike and an additional $6.50 per hour that the bike is used or that the bike is rented for. So in this case, would represent the number of hours your friends rent the tandem bike. Make sure you have any notes written down for lesson 11 that you need to in your workbook, that your warm-up is complete, and if you did this online, that you've made it through all the slides submitting your answers as you go.